Hi guys, it's Crafty Tina's. In today's video I'm going to show you how to make a wire notebook with a hidden wire. From the outside of this notebook you cannot tell that it is a wire bound notebook. I'm going to use the We Are Memory Keeper Cinch and show you step by step how you can make this notebook that hides your wire. For this video I made a small notebook that holds 3x5 index cards. You open the inside and you have your wire, your index cards, but from the outside the wire does not show. So let's get started. You need minimal supplies again for this notebook. You're going to need 9/16 wire or whatever size you need based on the size of your book. This book is going to be 5 1/4 by 3 3/4. It is going to be 3/4 inch thick. So the binding is actually 3/4 inch. So your chipboard is going to be 5 1/4 by 3 1/4. You're going to need 2 pieces, and that is for the front and the back. For the actual edge, it needs to be 3/4 by 5 1/4. You're going to need a piece of black cardstock. Well, for my book, I'm doing black cardstock. For this book, I did white. I'm wanting the binding here to blend in more. I'm using black, grayish, shimmery vinyl for this one, so I wanted it to blend in more. It is totally up to you what color. You could make multiple colors, blending or contrasting. For this book, we're going to use a piece of regular weight cardstock. This is just basic cardstock that comes in the regular packs. And the cardstock we're going to be using is 4 inches by 5 inches. We're going to score this cardstock, but I will show you that when we get started. You're going to need 3x5 index cards or plain paper or plain cardstock. I chose to use index cards because I wanted it to be lined. I'm using 24 index cards. Then you need your vinyl. This is adhesive vinyl. You're going to need a 9 1/2 by 6 1/2, 2 pieces of 3 1/2 by 5 inch, and 1 piece of 1 1/2 by 5. The vinyl we're using today is from Dollar Tree. It is vinyl paper, permanent glitter paper. Now, I don't recommend this vinyl specifically for anything that's not going on paper or cardstock because I feel like this vinyl won't last. But for this, it's lasted very well being stuck to chipboard for my books. I've made a couple others with this vinyl. Both of these came from the Dollar Tree, but you can get this on Amazon, probably a different brand. Just look for adhesive vinyl. So let's get started. The first thing we're going to do is our main book. That is this actual part here. It's made in one piece. It's not put together. It's not held together by the binding, which is different than our regular notebooks. Our regular notebooks are held together by binding, where this notebook is not. Normally, they're bind together like this. So you would make 2 separate, a cover and a back, and then you bind it with the wire. In this case, we are making the entire front and back connected. It's being connected by the vinyl because the pieces of chipboard are all separate. So let's get started. We're also going to use some stickers to decorate it after the fact, but that's a personal choice. First thing you're going to do is you're going to want to expose your vinyl with the sticky side up. We simply peel the back off, keeping it on a flat surface. And this was the end of this roll, so there is 2 creases here. It shouldn't matter. Probably not going to matter because it's a glitter. If it is a smooth vinyl, a glossy vinyl, that actually might show. I'm going to take one, either front or back, I'm going to put it a 1/2 inch away from the edge, top, bottom, and left side. And I'm only going to eyeball it, but if you put it down on something, you can actually line up approximately where you want to go. And I simply put it down flat. Now I need to put my next piece down, but I need a space between here. They sell these on Amazon, and they're for bookbinding. My husband 3D printed mine. It is not necessary. You can just eyeball it, or you can put something plastic that won't stick permanently. Just to give you an idea of how much space you need to leave between. These are very little handy things. Before he printed me this, I ordered one on Amazon, and it got lost. So I didn't want to wait again, so he just printed me one. And because it's plastic, it doesn't stick to the vinyl permanently. The next thing you need to do is have that same exact space, so whatever you used, either using an item or eyeballing it, use the same idea so that you can put the next one down. Your goal here is to have the exact amount of space between the two pieces of chipboard and having them lined up on the top and the bottom. Again, the same amount of space, and you want them lined up. Having a little more or a little less on all 4 sides is okay. This is more important that you have them lined up, or your book may be crooked. The next thing we want to do is we want to clip the edges, the corners. And you want to leave a slight amount so that you're not cutting into your cardboard or your chipboard. And you also want a tiny amount to be between the corner and the edge of your vinyl. Clip all 4 corners. And now you want to fold all 4 edges in, just like if we were making one side of our covers. We want to fold them all in. I feel like the cheaper the vinyl, the more forgiving it is. Because if it's very thick or expensive vinyl, it doesn't go as smooth. So don't worry about buying inexpensive vinyl for this project. It actually works really well. And I also like to start from the center, and I sometimes forget that. And you're just wanting to make sure it's firmly attached to the chipboard. Once you have all 4 sides mashed down, make sure they're smooth. The next thing I want to do is I want to add my center piece. This is the piece that's going to hold my book inside. So let's move this out of the way. This is our piece of 4" by 5" cardstock. Now, you can fold this, or you can use a scoring board. I always have mine at the ready. So, turn it to the side that is 4 inches. And you need to make a scoring line exactly in the center, which is 2 inches. And from that 2-inch mark, you need to go a 1/2 inch to the right, so 2.5, and then a 1/2 inch to the left, which is 1.5, so that you end up with 3 scored lines. You are going to want to fold the center line and then fold toward, this is the seam, folding toward that line. till you have this. This is simply a folded piece of cardstock with 3 scored lines. Now you want to punch your holes on the folded part. That is all we need the scoreboard for. So we need to punch our holes here. This book is 5 1/4. Don't want the handle to hit. This is 5 1/4, so I wanted to make sure my holes were where I wanted them for my cards. So I've already worked out the math. And this is something I'm going to explain more in other videos because people are having a hard time figuring out where to put their holes. But for this video, we are going to open up your sliding bar to the quarter position. I went over 1, 2, 3 clicks, and that is the quarter position. I'm going to pull out 9, 10, 11, and 12 and make sure 8 to 1 is all pushed in. This will ensure that I'm only punching 8 holes, which is what I want for my binder, for my notebook. It is not punching 9, 10, 11, and 12. I'm leaving that blank as well as the space over here blank. One thing that really bothers me is there's no line up here. Like, this piece is skinny, so putting it here really bothers me. So I'm happy to hold it against another card. Keep it away from where you're going to punch, but use that as a guide to just slide it straight back. And you want to make sure, in my case, this black piece is all the way to the wall. It can't go any further, and it is lined up with the guide. If you don't feel comfortable punching with your card there, you can remove it and then punch. And now my holes are in the center. While we're punching, let's go ahead and punch our cards. They are the same size as our center guide here, so we don't have to do anything extra. You do want to make sure, because index cards have a red line, that's the top. You want to make sure they're all in the right direction with the red line on top. So we're just going to do a few of these at a time. It actually does really, really good thick amounts. And I want to punch them all the same way. If you choose to do them face down, do everything face down. If you choose to do them face up, do everything face up. Remember, all the way this way and all the way in. That may have been a little much, but it still punches it. It still does a really good job. It's nice, clean cuts. So now I have all my cards, and I have my center for my book. So let's move this over. The next thing we want to do, let's bind our book together. Now for this, I need to add vinyl to the inside and to the center. But I don't want to add my vinyl yet because my vinyl is going to go on top of my binding center. But I want to cover the inside of this so that the sticky has a place to go. So we're going to take our 1.5 by 5 and go ahead and put that on the center. And there's no right or wrong way. There is a little section between the two chipboards. Don't do anything sharp because it can cut through the vinyl. But now we have this ready to add our notebook inside. Okay, so let's bind. they are going to sit in here with the ring. So we're going to, I don't think it matters top or bottom in this case. Let's just do it this way. I am using 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 double wire loops, and this is the 7/16 size of the double wire. I chose this side because this is what this stack needs. Remember, you're not putting it on the outside, so it doesn't need to be thick enough for this. It needs to be thick enough for your insides. So we have our wire. We're going to hang it on our machine, and we're going to add our index cards. We're going to add half and half, so we're not trying to put too many on there. Add our index cards and add our center. Now before I punch this, I want to make sure this is what I want, and it is. Now I need to clamp this, or cinch it, which is what I think this calls for. Pretty sure that's why they called it a cinch. Maybe because it's a cinch to use. So these wires are 7/16, but I don't have a 7/16 on my dial in the back. 7/16 is slightly smaller than half. So I'm just going to go to the half mark, which is here, and I'm going to go 1 click down. So 7/16 is above the 3/8, but it's lower than the half. We're going to put this in. And I showed you guys this in other videos, but in case you're new, the edges go flush to the back. So you have to, and it's black, so it's hard to see, they have to be up against the back. So the 2 open edges goes flush to the back. Hold them against with the pushing motion to the back before you put your handle down. And that's all there is to it. It made it nice and round. It clamped it all the way. You can tell because they overlap slightly. Bring you guys back up here. Move this over. And now we are going to put this inside the book, just like this. So we're going to do one side at a time, and we're going to line this fold up to this crease. And you can feel it with your fingers on each side. The black cardstock is just slightly smaller because this is 5. The actual chipboard is 5 1/4, where the piece of cardstock is only 5, so you have a little bit on each side. Once you have it there, you're now going to put this piece on here. So we open this up, and this piece is our 3.5 by 5, and you need 2 of them, one for the front and one for the back. I'm going to make sure it's still lined up. And if you wanted to, you could put a little piece of washi tape, or you could glue this down. In fact, I'm going to recommend that, because you might move this or shift this really easily. So let's actually put some adhesive on here and stick it down. Let's get out Squeaker. In fact, I think I did glue this one down. I'm sorry. So now I can put this down with confidence that it's going to stay, as long as I don't make a mess out of that. So now I want to put it down, still going, still lining up with my crease. and lining up again on this side with my crease, I want to stick that down. And I can use my fingers and I can feel the crease is right here where that line is. Now we can put the glitter adhesive on. And we want to just butt it right up to the crease. And lay it down. And we want to do the other side the exact same way. So we are going to take Squeaker and we are going to add some more adhesive. And we are going to add it the same way. I don't know if you can see this crease, but you can feel it with your finger. You can even bring it up to you if you prefer. And then lay it down. Now we want to take the second piece we have that is a 3.5 by 5 and we want to add that to the other side. Simply line it up with the crease. Start on one side and work your way over. Printed and textured vinyl is more forgiving than smooth, glossy, solid, because if it had a wrinkle or a bubble and it had a small imperfection, you would be able to tune that out. But now we have a book that is enclosed with our wire, and we're ready to have fun with it. You can press these down a little to get the book to sit closed. There we go. Now, I've been successful with putting stickers on this because it's kind of a textured vinyl. So you can choose if you want to put your stickers directly or if you want to glue them. Maybe you wish to have a more permanent solution. But I also, in my other book, I put some little bitty stickers on each index card. And I thought it made a really pretty presentation. So if you have a lot of little stickers laying around that you really aren't going to use much, you don't have to do every page, do every couple of pages even. But I also want to put one on the inside. And there you have it. A pretty little book hiding the spiral from the outside, but an actual spiral bound book on the inside. I like the concept of this. I know this was a small book. I just wanted to show you guys a small project to get you started. It uses minimal supplies, so if you do have any issues, I'm bending this down because I should have folded it and made the creases more prominent before we actually put this part in. If you like this video and you'd like to see other hidden wire books, let me know. I have a few more ideas of different ways to do this. But I really like this, especially if you're going to throw this in a drawer. It's not going to get caught up on everything. It's going to go in the drawer nice and neat. But there you have it. We have our nice pretty little books. They have hidden spirals. You could actually run a ribbon through here if you wanted to decorate it. I'm not really sure I'd add beads, but maybe that's something we could try next. Make sure you like this video. Make sure you subscribe if you want to be notified when I make more books. And I hope you enjoyed it. And as always, happy crafting.